While I'm on a roll talking about the evil of bureaucracy, let's talk about one of the main ways that it happens, which is that people in the bureaucracy use their chosen structure and technologies as an excuse to not deliver. These things that were meant to enable the delivery of whatever they're about is no longer used in that way, but is instead used as an excuse for why it cannot be delivered. But of course, it is the responsibility of the organization to choose computer systems and organizational structures that allow them to operate effectively. And all of the people in the bureaucracy at the executive level who are paid to do just that are basically stealing the money they're paid if they don't take responsibility for that. They are incompetent and not doing their jobs, if that's the case. But that is not the attitude that prevails in a bureaucracy. It's considered a justifiable excuse. Now, an example from the technology side of things would be when there's some kind of computer system that has taken the place of human judgment, and so people who could have done a better job using their own rationality and compassion have put it into a computer system, and the computer system has said no, and there's nothing they can do about it. So they've chosen a technology that disempowers the people with the most information who could have most effectively dealt with the problem had they been empowered to do so. And another example would be the choice to silo different functions in an organization. So we say, okay, well, there's this silo of people, this group of people, and they're responsible for doing one kind of thing. And then there's this other part of the organization that's responsible for doing this other thing. And what happens so often is that you're trying to deal with this organization, but what you're actually dealing with is a sub-organization, and you're in an awkward middle ground where you can be ping-ponged backwards and forwards between the two, with neither one of them taking responsibility for what's happening. And I'm sure most people have experienced this. And this is a kind of process that can be so inefficient. It's so impossible to find someone who will actually take responsibility that you can actually just not get the service you need from the organization. This is not a justifiable decision on the part of the people responsible for this. This is a guarantee that whenever something is on that blurry middle ground between those two functions, that this kind of thing will happen. And I don't understand why anyone should be paid that amount of money to make such a bad decision. And, you know, I'm talking about the executives in these organizations who are responsible for this, but you don't have to make it personal. Just think of it from a phenomenological point of view. This phenomenon is something that we should be aware of. You can't just go siloing things where people are going to fall in the middle ground between them without this consequence. You have to have a prearranged way of dealing with this problem if you're going to silo things, or it's not going to work.